It's pretty cool. Like I met with this guy Tuesday of last week, and it's the first time I actually had a meeting and shared the heart behind Forgivin.
Yeah,
When I left the meeting, like I got a PayPal notification. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I got a donation."
yeah.
Then when I got home, I opened up my email and he's a monthly donation.
Oh
I was like,
shit.
"Oh, snap."
Wonderful day. Ain't stressing about nothing right now, cause everything's straight. I'm feeling so grateful, thanking my maker for this wonderful day.
Here from the Stone Vet, man. It's Friday, man. You know how it always is when we do it. Friday night, we want to enjoy it, right? Here in Oklahoma, it's starting to get a little bit chilly outside. It's supposed to get pretty cold this weekend, but like I said, it's always that perfect weather. I spent 3 years in Hawaii, and like I could say, I get perfect weather all year round, honestly. You know, so like I said, sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. I've got the honor of bringing Mr. Darren Z here from Forgivin Skate Church, man. This guy here, he did his time. He's just like any of us. He served his time in the military, like we all say we all need to do, right? Granted, I wouldn't say how big the military was for him. I mean, he was the chair force, so you know how that goes. You know how we feel about our chair force guys here. But Mr. D here, he started a nonprofit helping the community, spreading the word of the message of the Lord. You know, that's his faith, and he tells people, you know, this is my faith. I can't force you to believe what I believe in. It's kind of like I tell you guys, I can't force you to have the same beliefs that I have, but I can tell you how good my God is and what he's done for me. You know, maybe some of y'all might be put off by this. Maybe some of y'all might sit around and take a minute to listen, right? But that's our jobs to serve the Lord, is to be able to spread the word as much and as far as we can. We may be able to plant the seeds, but we may never watch the plant grow, you know? So I got Darren here. His mission in life right now is to spread the word of the Lord through skateboarding, man. How many of you
Yeah,
guys like skateboarding?
that's what's up.
It's tough, man. I'm too old to be getting on that skateboard, man. I see you out there doing it, and you be getting in there grinding with them kids, man.
Man, there ain't never too old to start, man.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you're doing, dude? Tell us what's your mission? What drove you to become the guy at Forgiving Skate Church?
No, man. So like in when I was in the chair force or the air force, I did some big brother mentoring type stuff. And when we moved up here to Oklahoma, probably back in 2007, just living here in Oklahoma, uh, kind of sit back and try to figure out things, start working out, doing stuff, and figured out that something was missing from my life. And at that time, I wasn't a believer. And probably about 2012-ish, a buddy of mine that I met through a local skate shop had started just a Bible study at South Lake Skate Park,
Okay.
which is down there on the south side of Oklahoma City. And so at the time, it was just go hang out and hang out with the kids, get in some exercise. And then my buddy through him, Charles Steiger, he's the one that started Forgiving Skate Church, but it started out as Forgiving Skate Team.
Okay.
And we would just kind of get together, hang out, bring pizza. He would bring a Bible study. And like I said, at the time I wasn't a believer. And we had actually got together and decided to get boards, pass them out to kids that needed them. And through that, we decided to start taking skate trips. And
Oh, okay.
one of the skate trips that we took, we went to Guthrie, and there was a professional skater named Brian Sumner that used to ride for Birdhouse, and a guy who's my mentor now, his name's Heath Shelton. He's a photographer up there in Guthrie. He runs Shelton Photography. And his church that he was at, they actually brought Brian in to do a demo and basically share the gospel. And through that event, that's when I actually got saved. So that's back in 2013.
Okay.
So,
So that's
so
not too long ago. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how people are like, man, I'm too old. I ain't never gonna get saved. But
Yeah.
when I was in Hawaii, I met a man. He's about I think he's like 105 now, 106. He's old, man, but
Them
he,
cats
he
live
wasn't
a
he
long time.
wasn't saved till he was 98.
Wow.
He used to
That's
actually turn on the Christian radio and argue with the guy on there. He tell us, he's like, I used to argue with him every morning on the way to work. Like,
yeah.
oh, you're a lie. I don't believe you, you know. But
That's
for you to go out and actually start running this mission, right? Like last week, like we were talking earlier, last week I brought in the nonprofit architect, Mr. Travis Johnson, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it give you some insight on how a nonprofit is supposed to be functioning, right? It's tough it's tough running a nonprofit. You can preach, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Talk
Yeah.
to us. Tell us about it, how hard it is to run a nonprofit.
You know, trying to run a nonprofit without a team, that's the key. Like if you don't have a team and you know, there's a lot of weight on your shoulder that you feel like, you know, you can't do a lot of it because there's so much time that needs to go into it. Plus, you know, working a full-time job on the outside of that, spending time with your family, trying to balance all of that and run the nonprofit, you know, it's very difficult to do it that way. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I guarantee you it's put test to your faith whenever you're like, what in the world am I doing? Like, why, like, Lord, why am I still doing this? Like, I ain't got a team to help me.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out avenues of funds to come in to be able to fund a nonprofit, to be able to provide boards for kids who are needing boards. Hell, just to throw a pizza party just to bring people in, because like we said earlier, it says it's not my job to force the Lord down your throat. That's not my job.
Yeah.
My job is for you to have a good time, skateboard, and let me have a Bible study with you. Let me tell you about this guy I call God. Let me tell you about God.
So that's where, like, what happened for me for my faith was when I got called to, you know, because Christ finds us. I don't believe that, you know, we're out there searching for him and we just all of a sudden find him. No, you know, he finds us where we're at, and that's what makes it more beneficial for me to share my faith with, you know, these kids. Is it's a genuine relationship between myself and Christ. And that's all it is. I cannot make anybody else come to the Lord. He's going to find you where you are. And all I can do is share what Christ has done in my life, you know, and turn my stuff around, you know, so that in the perfect example of, you know, running a nonprofit with feeling like it's all me by myself, you know, new in faith, and you find out that, you know, you feeling down, all this weight on your shoulders, and it's just like, God, you know, do you want me to keep doing this? You know, and going back to that, it's like praying and praying and praying that, you know, if he wants me to continue to do Forgivin, because I got to the point where I was done, like, and through that, you know, just show me a sign that you want me to continue this, right? So we all hear that, you know, like, oh, I don't believe that, you know, there's no, but literally a text message through Instagram from another skate ministry in Texas is like, hey man, let's talk vans. And I'm thinking, okay, skate ministry to skate ministry, it's going to be tennis shoes, you know. The guy's down there, his name's John, with Middleman Skateboards, and he's like, oh, no, man, like, would your ministry benefit from a 15-passenger van? So, like, literally, like, God telling me, no, you're not going to stop, because I'm going to bring something to you that you're going to continue to use for my glory and work it that way, you know? So through that, you know, man, it's been a challenge though, but, you know, like through that, it was a learning experience too, and sharing my vision and goal for Forgivin through other ministries is just beyond, you know, awesome.
And that's the biggest thing. That's what I try to stress about with my group, with the Stone Vet. That's why I try to stress to people, you have to build your community around you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you, I mean, skateboarding, that's a specific type of community. You know, people who skateboard, people who are in BMX and doing that kind of things, that's a specific type of community. Not everybody's into it, but if you're building your community around you, you're going to build your community around those people, you know? And like you said, you're trying to find the team. You're trying to create the team to be able to carry out the dream, right? That's
Yeah.
one thing that Travis said. He said, once you sign over that nonprofit, it's no longer your nonprofit.
No.
It belongs to the team. It
Right.
belongs to the board. You got to make it's for the community is why you're creating this, to help the community, you
Yeah.
know, but you have to have those people in line in order to ensure that your mission is being reached,
Absolutely.
you
And
know?
to share that vision and to keep that vision, like, you know, it's one thing to be, I say tied to a church, but, you know, if you're tied to a church, sometimes you have to do along their, you know,
Their guidelines.
their guidelines. And when, you know, it's very difficult because reaching the community, like, so Forgivin, one of our slogans is changing the culture, right? So inside out, to change the culture,
Right.
it's literally like sharing my faith and what I can accomplish through my God, then, you know, showing them, like, the closest community to a Christian community I've ever seen is action sports community.
Oh, wow.
Because skaters, BMX, you know, even those scoot kids, you know, it's a joke, but, you know, they are doing something they love. So,
Absolutely,
you
you
know,
know.
but they are the closest group to Christians that I've ever come across, because you literally could be out there at a spot and see 5, 6 different kids, and they all look different,
Right.
and they don't care
No, and
about
they don't care.
anything except putting that board down on the ground. You know?
Absolutely. And it's the same thing. I mean, with your mission, what I've been seeing, like I said, the reason I got in contact with you, because my
Right.
son's a skater. He, you know, and me, we know that the skateboarding community can be a little rough. The skateboarding community can be a little rough. The BMX community can be a little bit of rough. You know, if you grew
Yeah.
up in that type of area, you know, those guys can be a little rough, you know, with their walk and just the way who they are and stuff like that. It's just like anything else. But when I saw what you were doing, I was like, oh, look at this. I said, this is a man of faith right here, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And to think, I gotta associate, my son needs to associate himself with more like-minded people.
Right.
You know, that's what we all have to do is if we want to be entrepreneurs, we want to be nonprofit CEOs, we want to be anything, you have to associate yourself with those type of people.
Right.
If you don't associate with those type of people, then it's going to be a little bit hard to get to where you want to be.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think it may be off-putting to some people. Oh, God, this, Lord, that, this, that. That's a religion, you know, and religion will kill you. If you start following religion, it will kill you.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, faith is completely different than religion.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's all about that relationship. It's
Absolutely.
like I tell some of these kids, like, imagine this: you spend an hour a week at church, right? Or you spend an hour a
1 week.
Yeah, every week, 1 hour. And you know, you basically imagine if you took that 1 hour and say you had a girlfriend or a wife and you spent 1 hour a week with that person,
Right.
what would the relationship be like?
You're not going to have a relationship.
No, not at all. So
Not at all.
that's the goal of, you know, building that is literally, you know, spend time in the Word.
Right.
Know, spend time, like, even if you think that, you know, me having faith is, you know, off-putting or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. It's literally going to be my relationship that
Right.
I'm concerned with.
And that's what we try to tell our kids. We tell our kids that, like, you can't have my relationship. This is my relationship.
Right.
You have to go and you have to sit down and speak with the Lord. Like, when you're struggling, he's the only one going to listen to you. None of your friends care. Oh, really? I'm sorry that's going on. That's all I can tell you. I'm sorry that's going on with you. I never had to deal with that, you know, but the Lord knows before you even get into the situation you put yourself in. He already knows that you're going to do it.
Oh, and that's the thing.
You
It's
know?
like, you know, a lot of people don't realize the plan. Like,
Right.
I heard this lady talk to me about it just earlier this week, because I wanted to tell this other story too. But it literally is like, before we were on earth, we were in heaven, and we had this plan, and we all were given this plan, and we all decided before we ascended, you know, or came to the earth, that that is our plan. And what happens is we don't follow that plan. You know, we deviate, and that's where we find, you know, like, oh, okay, well, this is, you know, I don't believe, you know, because he's not he's not helping me do this or that. Well, what she said, it makes total sense, is your plan, when you find your plan, it's actually your passion that God gave you. So
Right.
God gave me the passion for skateboarding and for sharing my faith with skateboarders. So all that time I spent away from Christ, now I'm back to that plan,
Right.
you know, because that's my passion.
Right.
So finding that passion and getting back in line is exactly where, you know, people will find themselves when they find out, oh, you know, God did create me for a reason.
Right.
You know, so that's where
And that's the biggest thing, is finding your purpose, right? Like you're like, this is my purpose. After getting out of the military, I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing I stress every week. I'm stressing it. You know what? You serve when you do 4 years or 40 years, whatever case may be.
Yeah,
You're
you
told
signed
what
that
to.
dotted line, bro.
You sign that dotted line. You sign that dotted line saying that this guy will tell me what to do, how to do, when to do it, why to do it every day for the next 4 years or the next 40 years, right?
Yeah.
But
That's
what do
why
you do? What do you do after you get out of the military? What is it? What
Yeah,
am I supposed to
exactly.
be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? What is this? And you know, like
That's
for
where I
you,
find, yeah.
you know, for you, it's like, this is what I'm doing. This is my purpose.
Right.
This
And
is
that's
what I'm
where I
supposed to
feel,
be doing.
yeah. And like, you know, my buddy I was telling you about earlier, you know, his name's John. He's a former Marine, because you're never an ex-Marine. You're always former. And I think he'll get a kick out of that. But, you know, it's one of those where, you know, me and him talk about it all the time. Like, you know, what are your purposes? You know, and if you
Right.
don't have a purpose, you know, because in the Marine Corps, you know, they basically give you your purpose.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
you know, and the freedom that we had in the chair force, because, you know, we were able to, you know, have a little
You're
bit
more
more,
free to do whatever you want.
a little bit more luxury and all that, you know, but it is what it is. And they each serve a purpose,
Right.
and every one of us deserve, you know, the same respect. And that's what I love about it, is even in the community, like you said, you know, you have to build your community, you know,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's just amazing that the support that we get, you know, it's a lot different than it used to be. I know. But you know, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, but it's I mean, like you said, it is. You have to grow your community where you're at. You have to spread the word so people know who you are, what your mission is. And that's the biggest thing. That's the hardest thing. Is like, how do you go out and go to these communities? I mean, like you said, the communities you're going to, these are kids that are, you know, a little bit less fortunate,
Yeah.
you know, and
a lot of times single parent homes, you know.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Single parent homes, they're lucky if they're going to get a meal that night. They're like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to eat tonight, right?
Right.
And for you to be able to go out and be able to, you know, you got to raise the funds, right? Nonprofit, you got to raise the funds. If you don't raise the funds, it comes out of your pocket, right?
Right, exactly.
And you may be the only meal that these kids are getting that night. Right. Like I picked up a couple of pizzas just so, you know, I wanted I wanted people to hang out so that I could have a Bible study with you guys. Let me tell you about what my Lord's doing for me today.
Absolutely.
Type thing, you know,
yeah.
And to be able to go out and be like, I just wanted to provide dinner for somebody tonight, you know, and that alone means so much because what is the age group of the kids that are coming out whenever you're out and around? What is the age group that you're seeing out there?
So that's the best part about what Forgivin does. We don't age discriminate, and we don't sexual orientation discriminate either. Like, we want to encourage all ages to come out, you know, because there's a lot of groups age-wise, you know, have seen from the age of 6 all the way to a guy that's a former Marine also. He's about 60 years old.
Oh, wow.
You know, he's out there in Norman, you know, but we want to be there for every age range because, you know, I just turned 44 and I'm still out there skating. You know, I'm learning to skate again. Right. It's like that funny Twizzlers commercial, you know, like that old dude sitting there chewing on his Twizzler. He's like, am I too old to start learning to skate? You know, and you scream at the TV, no, it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late. And that's the thing that I want to encourage these guys that watch this is like, it's never too late to enjoy your passion or find your passion.
Right.
You know, that's the key to it is.
No, absolutely. It is. I mean, like you said, you got to find your passion. What is your purpose in life? After serving in the military, what am I what are you doing now? You know, I've got one guy, he tells me, he's like, I ain't got no purpose no more. I said, no, dude, there's a purpose. I don't care how old you are. You 60, you 60, you 70, you 80, I don't care. There's a
Right.
purpose for you. Well, I ain't got a wife, I ain't got kids. That don't mean you have to have a purpose if you ain't got a spouse or
Yeah.
children. That
That's
means you
what
got
makes
enough
it
time to go figure
beneficial.
out what you need to do, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what that means. You have enough time. You don't have to worry about accommodating somebody else right now. You can actually go and figure out what is your passion. What do you like doing? What do you want to do? How do you want to live life now that you've gotten now, and you're trying to figure out, I got to find a purpose to what I'm doing to live life again, you know?
Right. Like, don't just sit on the couch and become
A bum and just
or couch
miserable because, oh, I ain't got nothing. Well,
Yeah.
you don't have anything because you never went out to pursue something.
Right. And it's
You know?
like, how do you find a passion that you don't even know you have?
Right.
If you're just internally, like, not even trying to get out. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You know, and that's the hard part. You know, I can understand where they're coming from because it's just like they don't have nobody telling them what to do, when to do, how to do it anymore.
Right.
You know, and
they've
it's
lost
like
that normalcy.
they're not there. Yeah, it's the normalcy that they had. It's gone now, and they're like, "What am I supposed to be doing now? Like, where am I supposed to be going with this?" You know, and it's like
A lot of times
there's
it depends on how long they served. You know,
yeah,
Like, that's one thing for me was, I just served 4 years, but
right.
like some of these guys that spend 10, 12 years and they decide, well, I need to get out because they don't like the way it's going,
Right.
And then they don't have a purpose,
Right.
They lose that structure. So, yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, you know, like speaking with Travis last week, he was the same way. He's set up like as soon as he gets out, he's golden. Because he found his purpose while he was in.
Yeah.
His purpose was to help people. His
Yeah.
purpose was to be able to help people establish whether they want to be an entrepreneur or they want to be somebody that starts a nonprofit. He has resources, tons of resources. And that's the biggest thing that we have to learn is that you have to go out, you have to network, you have to find resources.
Right.
Because you can't know everything and anything. You can't. But
Yeah.
you know somebody that could know something about that topic that somebody was talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we learned to do in the military was we learned how to network.
You have to network, and that's life in general.
Yeah.
That's not outside of military. That's life in
Absolutely.
general. You
Yeah.
have to network with people because some people will be able to help you get where you need to be.
Mhm.
And some people, the people who make it like to tell people how they made it.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. And you, like I said, you starting your nonprofit. That's why I was like, go check out Travis, dude. He's got every information you can figure out, man.
Yeah.
Anything you need, you can even call him. He has his Facebook group on there. He has every way you can contact him to say, and you can come to him and say, hey, dude, Sergeant G from the Stone Vet, I was listening to his show and I saw you on there. And I think you might be able to help me get where I need to be with what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
Maybe you can provide me some guidance on what I need to do.
That's like I was saying before, that's key is, having that network, even, just being able to see that on your podcast earlier, it's like, oh, dude, that's what I need to check into.
Yeah. And that's what if you know where the resources is, it makes it easier because you're like, oh, I can find that there. I can get information on that. And I think that's what makes life hard for people is they don't know where they want to go or what they want to do, dude. I said, I can sit with you. I can pick your brain, figure out what you're into. I mean, you like working on cars? Start working with people who work on cars. Start talking to people who are working on cars,
Absolutely. And that's, if you get enjoyment out of it,
mm-hmm.
That's where your passion comes from.
Absolutely. Like you were saying earlier, your passion, what is your passion? What is it that you strive to be? Do you want to help vets?
Right.
Do you want to, it's just, there's so many different things out there that you can try to do. Like me, I'm like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I said, I'm tired of working 9 to 5. I hate the fact that I have to work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I want to be my own boss. I tell my son every day, figure out what you want to do in life and let's work on it. So when you get my age, you're already established. You're good, dude. You don't have to worry about anything.
That's like, I know this isn't the end goal for me. Like I'm working a 9 to 5 now, but like my end goal is to be doing Forgivin full time.
Full time, right? And you can do that. You can do that. But see, like I said, I'm providing you the resources.
Yep.
Go check out the Nonprofit Architect. Find out what kind of information he can provide you to get your nonprofit where it needs to be, so it can sustain itself. And guess what? It can pay
It can
you.
grow. Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
pay
That's the
you,
thing.
you know,
Like, I mean, to do your passion full time
full time, dude.
and have it's literally like, it's not a job anymore.
No, it's not a job. Yeah,
That's what a
exactly.
lot of people roll back to, is like, oh man, I got to work this job.
And they get mad.
They get
I
mad.
gotta wake up early. I gotta go like.
The vision for Forgivin really is like a big, huge community center.
Right.
And right now, the focus is mainly on skateboarding, only because, that's my passion right now. Everything centered around Christ first. And then, that way the kids grow, from the inside out, with that changing the culture.
Yeah, because what you're doing, you're actually helping these kids that don't have any faith, that don't know the word, that don't know. Hey, let me tell you about this guy that's been helping me out. Let me tell you about what he can do.
They don't even know what questions to ask.
Right. They don't.
Yeah. So, and that's what I love about it too, is it's all relationship based first. That's the goal, is just to build relationships so that, because that's what we learned in the military. I was a military brat, and it's easy for me to make friends.
Right.
Sometimes too easy, because I like to talk a lot,
Right.
So, but I mean, that's something that, these kids that they're shy, they hide behind their skateboard, or, they hide behind the problems that they're having at school. And
I think we all do that. We all hide behind something. We all have our own problems that we deal with, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some people were raised with a golden spoon in their mouth, or whatever the case may be. That term,
those guys are lucky.
You're like, I don't know, but I mean, serving in the military, dude, it screwed you up. It screwed everybody up. It screwed everybody's mind up. Like I said, they broke you down to nothing.
There's a purpose, and we know that now. I mean, I've been out for 21 years, so it's like, now I realize why they broke me down, even though
because they gotta build you up to be their standard that they want you to be at,
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing in life, is just like, man, what do I do now? Like, nobody's gonna break you down to make you who you used to be. Who you used to be is gone. That's the old you. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like boot camp. No, it's like being baptized. They broke you. You went down and you came up a whole new person. It's the same thing, Yeah. And so now to be a vet, to find your purpose in life, to figure out, what am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose in life again? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be helping somebody, or whatever the case may be? But that's why that's one thing I always stress about in the community is let's help build our community. Right. You're into woodworking. Hey, I know so-and-so, he likes woodworking too. He's been doing some things. Maybe you guys collaborate together and work together. And maybe, you might be able to make an enterprise to be able to work together and just be helping each other and helping the community,
Yeah. And last week, I met a vet that's actually doing, it's like bird hunting.
Oh, okay.
He takes vets out and does bird hunting with them, and kind of reaches out that way. So there's several different,
there's a lot of avenues. There's a lot, like Travis said last week, man, there's 52,000 veteran nonprofits now.
That's insane.
52,000. I was like, wow. He's like, and I bet you don't know but like 3. And I said, yeah, it's about right.
That's 3 or 4. Yeah,
3 or 4. And that's it. That's just the ones that everybody knows. The DAV, the Veteran Foreign Wars, a Wounded Warrior. You don't know about all these other nonprofits that are out there, because it's not the marketing, and how many people actually have the right amount of income coming in to be able to go out and market and help, raise funds to keep the nonprofit up and running, right?
Where we get strapped to social media, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to promote ourselves.
Right. And this is why I bring people on. This is why I bring vets on, entrepreneurs. If you're a vet, come on, man. I actually got a guy. He's not a vet. He wants to come on, but he's a businessman.
Yeah.
And he wants to talk about networking. How do you go about networking? Where do you go? What do you do? What are the ins and outs of networking? Because that's what we have to do in life. We have to network with people. We have to go out. I mean, a lot of us have that fear of, I don't want to talk to, I don't like talking to people. I'm scared to go ask for something. I'm scared to ask for help. As a vet, we're all scared to ask for help. You
Yeah,
know, the days get
absolutely.
dark, the days get long. We get scared as hell to ask for help, you
Yeah.
know? And that's one thing that we have to get over that.
We
We
got
have
to be bolder. Yeah, because, asking for help, that's where I learned myself is, like I can't do it all by myself,
mhm.
and it finally took, a year of, all right, I can't do this by myself. And do you want me to quit? Then he brings me the van. And then through the van, then he brings me other people outside of the van, to help boost that, and then
Right.
next thing you know, it's like, okay, I know I can't do it by myself. I have to ask.
You have
And
to
that's
ask
what
for
I
help.
did. Yeah, I
You
started
have you
asking.
have to ask for help. You have to go out and you have to ask for help.
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's break to commercial break.
All right,
Let's
bro.
thank our sponsor, Rafa 180, for being with us to be able to sponsor the show and help us keep going.
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180 for being a sponsor. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
What's up, guys? I hope you like that commercial by Rafa 180. I love having them as my sponsor. It helps me out so much to be able to keep this show up and running, keep going. Hey, if you have your own little business, you have a nonprofit, you have something, you want to try to get people to see who you are, definitely reach me out. I'll leave the description down below in the description bar, the little box where I put all the information for everybody that I bring on the show. If you'd like to be a sponsor of the Stone Vet, go ahead and email me. I'll send you some information. We'll get everything worked out, just so during this time of COVID, guess what? Flu season is just around us. And I know, hey, if you have an online business, if you're into making stuff or doing whatever you can, and you want to be able to get the word out to everybody to show what you can do so you can bring some money home, definitely email me. Let me know. We're coming back with Darren here. Yeah, he just had an amazing trip up to Michigan, man. This guy's like I said, being a nonprofit, you have to work, man. If you're an entrepreneur, you're working. It never stops. It's a 24/7 type thing. Why don't you tell us about the trip you took up to Michigan?
Yeah.
What'd you do up in Michigan this recently?
So doing skate ministry and nonprofit being the ministry, we did, there's a group called the Grind Conference, and it's a nonprofit that is actually a conference for other skate ministries. We talk about networking.
So it's actually bigger. This is not something that you just created. You guys are all over.
Yeah, we there's a large organization called the Christian Skaters International.
Oh, wow.
They do focus on a lot of ministry work overseas. And then a lot of it, is we talk about ministry and mission work in the U.S. A lot of it kind of goes out of country. Well, so what a lot of us skate ministries here in the U.S. are doing is we're networking together here so that we can build a stronger network at home. Okay. And that's what the conference was all about, was encouraging us to be better, stronger, faster, meaner, leaner leaders in our communities, and know that, like we talked about earlier about being alone, even though I'm here in Oklahoma and sometimes I may feel alone, like that network of brothers and sisters in Christ that are in the U.S. that, we joined. There was over 100 people from 30 or 40 different skate ministries that.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah,
it was a big, 3-day conference, and there was a lot of skating, but there was also a lot of team building.
That's good.
So there's part of it was, I just want to share my how awesome my God is. And, it's literally like on the trip, on the way there, we had a couple kids that came from San Antonio, a couple kids from Austin. They met me here in Oklahoma City, and then we picked up another buddy of mine here in the city, and we started driving up to Michigan
with a 15-passenger van.
And it's dubbed the Forgivin.
The Forgivin van.
Yeah, so it's Forgivin. Yeah, so it was pretty sweet. The dude in Texas, John with Middleman, that's what he named it, the Forgivin. So we, loaded that up and started heading up, and we got to talk on the way. And one of the guys, before we left, we prayed for the van, and we also prayed that God would reveal himself to us while we were on this trip.
Right.
And because some of the kids that were with us, they kind of struggle in their faith some, and
Of course,
we all
do. We all do.
yeah,
We all struggle.
that's what makes it our own relationship is
Right.
we're in different spots. And so when we stopped in Joplin to get gas, there was a lady that pulled up in a truck, and you just see her face, like she's just stone faced. There's no emotion. And now, granted, I'm gonna have to get you a picture of the van to show, because the van is pretty.
Yeah.
It's one of those where it's super clean on the outside, and it's like us, we're all flashy on the outside. And on the inside, it is a skate man, like it's disgusting, like we are internally.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
this lady pulls in, and she's just stone faced, and I start walking back towards the van, and as she's pulling in, you just see this great big smile of joy come over this lady's face.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking, man, this is pretty cool,
Yeah.
And like just to see the flashy van is like church and all that, like my God showing out,
Right.
Man, it was so rad. But then she like walks up to us, and she's like, man, you're not gonna believe this. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, are you part of the ministry? And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, we're on our way to Michigan to go to a skateboard ministry conference. And she's like, oh. She starts to tell me, she says, I have this big fancy machine, and this machine has been broke for some time. And she said, it's really expensive to fix. And she said, I felt God tell me to lay my hands on it and pray over it. And she said, in a couple of days, I had the money to fix it. She said, so he's got me here to give you t-shirts.
Oh, what?
What? Like, to give me t-shirts? She's like, yeah, God's told me to give you t-shirts for your ministry. Like, we're 3.5 hours into this 14-hour trip, and I'm like, we asked God to show himself, and
right,
and like those two kids in the van, that they were like,
oh, what in the world?
Man, what? And when I got in, they were like, man, Darren, we thought she was gonna chew you out for something. I was like, oh man, like she said God told her to give us t-shirts, and
right, like
just the awe and amazement, like that lifted our spirits so much.
There's things like that I think that we tend to forget, like we go through life and we live life like, why me? Why right now? Why am I going through this right now? But
right. And
there's a purpose for it. There's a purpose that the Lord said, hey, I'm putting you through this through this situation right now for a reason.
Yeah.
And like you said, you 3.5 hours into a 14-hour trip, and this woman just stops out of nowhere and says, yeah, hey, my job is to make you shirts. You're like, who are you? I've never met you a day in my life. It's
so amazing how, you hear about the 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
So I'll get into that a little bit later, but like we continued the journey and went to, it's called the Skate Laborious. It's a 18th century Gothic Catholic church.
Oh, really?
In St. Louis, literally 2 blocks away from the Arches.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's the most beautiful church on the inside. And what makes it even more beautiful is there's a skate park in it. So,
is it really? Oh, man.
Legit rad, dude. And like the people, they actually have people that live on the campus, and, they gave us a tour. It's just amazing.
And it's things like that. You're building your resources. You talking to them. Like, how did you get this? Like, what did you do to get something like this? Or how did this come about to be able to do what you're doing here,
Yeah. And it's the people that he brings across your path that you never even, like once you figure out and realize the power of prayer,
right,
and the signs to listen to and to pay attention to when God's actually like talking to you.
And I think that's the biggest thing that people get lost. Like, I don't feel like the Lord's talking to me, but it's like, right. When was the last time you talked to him? Are you listening? Are you actually listening?
It goes back to that hour a week.
Hour a week. You're only spending an hour a week with them. You're not going to accomplish anything. Like you said, If you had a girlfriend, would you only talk to her for an hour a week?
One of the girls that was there showing us around, she's got a really pretty voice, and she sang inside of that cathedral.
Oh man.
Just the sound of it was just awe-inspiring, And so then, we made our way we went to a place called Battle Creek, Michigan. It was a indoor skate park inside of a mall up there called Battleground Skate House. And it's led by, this is the best part, when we talk about nonprofits and such. It's led by people that believe in Christ, that don't skate, but have a skater that is a pro skater on their team that is who ministers to everybody at that skate park.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Shout out another, he's a spoken word dude. His name's Jefferson Bethke. And when I was new to Christ and finding out that there is a difference between the religion and Jesus, and that was his title was Jesus versus Religion. And it talked about how religion is a shackle that holds you.
It is. It will shackle you down.
All the doctrine and all that stuff, that's what people in today's society are afraid of, is the religion of it,
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's like to have a real relationship with Christ has nothing to do with religion.
No, absolutely.
Once you free yourself of that religion and you spend that time in relationship, then that's where true faith becomes.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more with that, because that's the biggest thing. We all go through our trials and our tribulations, right? Yeah. The Lord said, I'm gonna put you through trials and tribulations. You will in this life, you will go through trials and tribulations, dude. Yeah. And some of us have been through some of the worst, and some of us have been through some of the easiest stuff. Yeah. For some people it's easy, for some people it's like, damn, dude, I don't know how you made it out of that, but it's not. Exactly. I didn't make it. It was the Lord that helped me get through it. I didn't do it by myself. There's no way in hell I could have done it by myself, especially the things that I've been through. Yeah. There's no way I could have done what I did by myself.
Right.
And then
finding that strength in him is what's really cool.
Absolutely. You got to find that strength within him, because if you don't, man, you try to do it on your own, look where you're at. look where you're at.
That trip to Michigan, that's the other thing too, is like being able to pour into other believers that believe in the same vision and goal that you have, because they have the same vision and goal.
Right.
That was huge. And then walking away from that with tools that we use to be able to share the gospel.
Right.
There's the 15-second testimony. It's like, I once was destructive and angry and disgusted at myself, and then I met Jesus, and he brought me joy, compassion, and wiped my pain away.
Right. And that's the big, you got
have a story like that.
Yeah, I've got plenty of stories like that. I've been through so much.
A tool to share the gospel.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like I said, our job is to minister and plant the seeds. We may never watch this. We may never watch the plant grow.
Yeah.
If we plant the seeds, that's our job. That's all the Lord asks us to do, is just plant the seeds. That's all That's all He needs us to do. Right. Plant the seed, be able to spread the word. Just spread the word and go through and just, you're gonna get people who are discouraged, that don't believe you, don't believe what you're doing, they don't have a passion, they don't believe in what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. You're just like, and you get discouraged, like you said.
That same kid that 5, 10, 15 years down the road, that seed we casted, something clicks, and he's like, oh yeah, remember that old moron guy, like.
Absolutely. I remember you were that guy that planted that seed in me. He said, let me show you what I'm doing now.
That's exactly what that conference was all about, was giving us and equipping us with tools. There's one that I was talking about, do what God has called you to do with a team. Right. So you have to do that. That's the number one priority, is you do what God wanted or has called you to do, and then do that with a team, and then share your vision as much as possible with passion and educate the need. Right.
Yeah.
So the need that we have is, like, we were given an entire skate park, of ramps and materials.
Yep.
We don't have a place to put it.
Right.
You know, so it's like that's a need. You know, if we share the vision without sharing the need, then you're just dreaming.
Yeah.
You know, so
Absolutely.
that was, you know, and then when people believe in the passion and the vision, you know, that you're sharing, then that's a monumental to your goal.
Now, let me show you what I'm trying to make this grow.
That goes all the way back to what we said at the very beginning.
Right.
He finds you where you are.
Since your trip back from Michigan,
Yeah.
what is your how has it encouraged you to continue pushing forward?
Oh, this is amazing, dude. So like when I came back, we actually had a meeting with an organization here in the city, and we're hopeful that, you know, we'll have our donation packet built. There's some training that we can get through them, helping us build our team by being able to share our passion and our vision with other people that have ministry and serving hearts that, you know, like the place in Michigan that I went to where they're not skaters, and in my head realizing that, you know, anyone that wants to minister and serve can do that because ministry is ministry.
Absolutely.
And realizing that they don't have to be believers that skate, that was a big, you know, eye opener for me. So the vision and the goal is to continue to build that team and to continuously pray about, you know, God bringing people to the Forgivin so that we can build that team so that we can continue.
Absolutely. You got anything else for us, Darren? You got anything else to say? Speak about what you're doing with the Forgivin Skate.
Man, we're hoping to get some contests going again.
Awesome.
We used to do those free to the public, and you know, right now we're visiting all the skate parks we can. We take trips whenever we can. You know, especially with that van.
Absolutely, I bet
that's been a huge blessing. Can't thank God enough for that. And you know, so you know, we accept any and all donations.
Absolutely. Where can people donate at?
They can go to our website. It's www.forgivenskate.church. In the about page or the support page, you can go there. You can set up a monthly recurring, or you can do a one-time donation.
Awesome.
We're already a registered nonprofit.
Awesome.
We are considered a church. So, you know, we send out statements. And then also on our Instagram and Facebook page. Our Instagram is Forgivin SK8, and our Facebook is just Forgivin Skate Church. So you can find links to donate there.
Awesome. That's awesome information, man. I do appreciate this time. I know in the last episode I forgot to give my outro, so we're going to actually do it this time and stuff. Darren, I really appreciate the time you took to sit here and you know, speak your mission, man. I said, my goal here with the Stone Vet is to get everybody out there, every vet out there trying to make a difference in this life that we're living right now, so people can see. And you know, maybe somebody that will see this to see, hey, dude, I know somebody in Oklahoma that has started skateboarding missionary work, and you would be the perfect candidate to help them with this.
Absolutely,
you know? That's all it is. I tell people, it takes one person to change your entire life, and what you're doing, man, you're changing lives on a regular basis. Don't get discouraged, man.
Oh man, I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Man.
Hey guys, I appreciate you guys spending the time with us here with Mr. Darren with the Forgivin Skate Church. You know, like I said, every freaking show here at the Stone Vet, I got you.
For this wonderful day, ain't worried about problems in my way. Knock 'em out like Muhammad Ali. I'm free to the mind like a runaway. My mind don't enjoy my time. Don't hit on my phone, just let it be. You wasting your time with drama, nothing accomplished. Stay away from me. I'm thinking everything gon' be alright. It's dark in this world, but I see the light. It's a blessing to grow older, so haters move over and let me live my life. Ain't stopping in no, I can't go back to what I was doing.